Hey kids! This is Princess Readalong and The Taste from Kids Reading Corner 207. And today we're going to read Double Dragon, story by Enid Richemont. This story is in the book Don't Kiss a Frog. Princess Stories with Attitude, chosen by Fiona Waters. And now we're going to start. There once lived a terrible fire-breathing dragon. He scorched the spring flowers and the tall summer corn. He stole lambs and chickens, and at night the smoke from his nostrils would black out the stars. "Whoever kills the dragon," cried the king, "can marry my daughter." But one by one the knights straggled back, sucking burnt fingers or dragging broken swords and battered shields. Sometimes they didn't come back at all. Then deep inside his cave, the dragon would pat his scaly belly. "Roast a lamb may be good," he said. "Roast lamb may be good," he sang, "but barbecued nights got a little something extra." One day, the dragon made a terrible demand. "Send me your most beautiful maiden," he roared, "or I'll burn down your city." "I'll go," said Princess Greta. "Anything to save me from marrying some boring old knight. But you're not beautiful," said her brother. "Beauty," said Greta, "is a matter of taste. And besides, the dragon needs to be sorted out. Girls can't fight dragons," argued the king. "This one can," said Greta, as she packed a bag and leapt on a horse before anyone could stop her. The dragon's trail was easy to follow. A scorched track across the moor and through the forest. Greta stopped to rest, tethering her horse to a tree. Then, in the distance, she noticed a pool. "Just what I need," she said with a sigh. She picked her way through a bracken and found it, a circle of deep water. Like a mirror, she saw her plump peaked cheeks and her sticking out ears in the clear surface. "It's a nice face," Greta thought as she drank, "and I like it. Besides, I've just had an idea." Who are you?" roared the dragon when Greta arrived at his cave. You asked for a beautiful maiden," said Greta. "I wanted blue eyes," grumbled the dragon, "and long golden hair." "Who told you that was beautiful?" Greta asked. "It's in my book," confessed the dragon. "Under maidens. Beautiful." "Then your book's out of date," said Greta. "Not like the other dragons." The dragon spat out a blast of fire and smoke. "What other dragon?" he bellowed. "The one I met near the forest," said Greta. "There are no other dragons," howled the dragon. "Oh, yes, they are," said Greta. "And he was looking for a beautiful maiden, too, but it told him I was booked." She wrinkled her nose. "Your breath stinks," she complained. "It's all that raw meat you keep eating. Nuts and berries will make you smell so much nicer." "I'm not a vegetarian," roared the dragon. "But you could be," said Greta. The dragon was puzzled. Aren't you scared of me?" he growled. "Not as scared as I was of the other dragon," said Greta. "I could roast you and eat you," said the dragon threatened.
Greta shrugged. The other dragon's flames, she said with a sigh, were like a volcano. The dragon closed his eyes, but he couldn't sleep.
At dawn, he rose up into the air and flew across the land. At noon, he came back. The sun was high up in the sky, and he wasn't a breath of wind.
I saw no other dragon,
he thundered. Greta climbed onto his back. I'll show you, she said. The dragon spread his wings. I like flying, thought Greta. He's somewhere down here, she whispered when she spotted the pool. I'll get him, roared the dragon.
I'll stuff his tail down his throat. I'll scorch holes into his wings.
Shh, Greta whispered. He's bigger than you. Quick, swoop down. We'll surprise him.
They slithered through the bracken. There he is, Greta cried, pointing at the dragon's reflection. The dragon looked. He bristled with rage. This is war, he bellowed, shouting out a tongue of yellow flames. But the dragon in the pool simply shot out more flames. I'll scratch your eyes out, roared the dragon, and he reared up and lunged. Splash! The water bubbled and boiled. The dragon's head rose up out of the pool. You tricked me, false maiden, he roared. He rose up a second time. My flames have gone out, he wailed. Oh, the shame of it. He rose up a third time. Help, he sputtered. Help! No more stealing lambs and chickens, demanded Greta, not to mention knights. The dragon shook his head miserably. Plop, plop. But how can I trust you? Asked Greta. Dragon's honor, gasped the dragon. So Greta found the sturdy stick and pulled him out.
The dragon lay on the ground, not moving. Greta pounded on his chest, but only bubbles came out. I don't want you to be dead, she cried, and I did like flying. The dragon opened one eye. I've lost my flames, he moaned. You should have left me drowned. You should have let me drown. Oh, don't say that, said Greta. I'm sure we can find a use for you. A strange little procession made its way back to the city. Greta led on her horse, followed meekly by the dragon. The king, the queen, and Greta's brother were watching from the castle.
She tamed him, cried the king. What a daughter, cried the queen.
What a sister, cried her brother. Of course the dragon must be killed, declared the king. Why? demanded Greta. He stopped breathing fire, and he's made a dragon's honor promise to be good. In fact, he's become a vegetarian. The dragons blushed pink. Oh, the shame of it, he groaned. And I've got an idea, said Greta. Doesn't our kingdom need a public transportation system? They built the dragon at hangar on the city square. Dragon Air, it said in big gold letters. It made him very proud. People bought tickets to fly to see faraway grannies and aunties. The king made Greta the royal dragon keeper, and every night she and the dragon would go flying together under the stars. The end. Well, kids, what did you think about that story? Well, what did you think about that story, The Taste? I loved how the dragon learned a lesson to not be fooled, and I loved how she defeated the dragon without even having to fight him. She just tricked him and made him fall into the water, and that was pretty funny. What did you like of it, Princess Read-A-Lot?
Well, I liked how, kind of like you said, the dragon learned a lesson, but I think the lesson was he learned not to trust strangers, even maidens. Also, I liked that there was, it showed a bunch of lessons and that you have to use your smarts a lot, even when you're trying to defeat a dragon. My favorite part was when he lost his fire, because I loved how he sounded so weak. Anyway, the end. Thanks for listening, and read lots.